I'm Lynn McCright, and my background is community health nursing, and I'm an adult and geriatric nurse practitioner. And this is Teresa Walding.
And I have been a nurse for 32 years. My background is ICU, rehab. I did a little stint in psychiatric nursing. I opened a geriatric psych program and learned why all my patients that I had quote problems with in the inpatient became my first patients in the psychiatric unit, and I loved it because I now had time to talk with my patients and find out what was really going on. And then I spent quite a long time in post-anesthesia recovery, but really at the exact same time as becoming a nurse coach and teaching nurse coaching and doing a lot of speaking and helping people understand just what nurse coaching is. So it's been quite a journey. I have loved everything I've ever done and looking forward to what's next. So what we're calling this program tonight is the Invisible Operating System, Your Missing Piece, because a lot of people are doing and doing and doing and doing and trying to find their way, but we all have this misunderstanding or a missing piece that we often forget about, and it's what's really running our show. So we want to help people to reclaim your peace, your power, and your purpose without leaving your profession, because we know that 37% of nurses have actually left the bedside. And as the very tail end of the baby boomers, I want somebody there for me. So we want to bridge gaps to help people stay in nursing so we can continue caring for people.
So the calm, how nurses can heal burnout from the inside out. It's really a class for nurses who are ready to breathe again. And we'll be offering one continuing education unit for attending tonight. I'm just so privileged to be able to bring this to you. It was something that I had found out about 40 years ago. And when I found out about the calm and how to live from the inside out, I actually started my own practice 40 years ago. And that was in Monterey, California. And we've moved around the world and back again since then. But the wonderful opportunity I had to set up my own private practice as a nurse at that time, 1986, has really stood me in good stead for understanding the issues that nurses are dealing with today in expanding their scope of practice and living and working at their full practice level.
So you are in the right place if you have ever felt tired or overwhelmed, you've ever felt unseen. Sometimes you feel like you're still not enough, or you are craving more for your profession and for yourself. You know, nurses have been talking about exhaustion and questioning whether nursing is still for them for quite a while. If you listen to the news, if you listen to TikTok, any of the social medias, but I see the tide is turning. Nurses want to nurse, and we want to know what else we can do. A lot of nurses feel unseen and unheard. They feel underappreciated in their roles and invisible, in spite all of the administration trying to, do the pizza parties, do little recognitions. And I've actually been hearing a lot more lately about people who are really enjoying their work again. And I think nurse coaching has a role to play in that. There's a lot of nurses who are like, you know what? I want to take control of my own health, of my own life, of my career. And nurse coaching is doing that. And it's giving us a voice again. But then there's a lot of nurses who are saying, like, I do everything and I feel like I'm still not enough. I feel like I keep giving and giving and giving. And no matter how many extra shifts I work and how much extra committees I'm on, it's not enough. I'm not feeling fulfilled by my work. And I think there's something to be said for, giving and over giving, but not taking anything back from the profession. In fact, that was the first definition I ever heard about burnout. burnout was giving and giving without ever receiving something back from the patients or from the staff or from the job itself. But I know most everyone that I talk to says, I am craving more. I know with the knowledge that I have, I can do more. I can impact lives more with the knowledge that I have. And so we're going to have a little conversation about that.
I love those binoculars. That's
I know,
so
it's so
cute.
cute, isn't it?
Yeah. So burnout is not your fault. And just understanding all of the forces behind your exhaustion is part of what we're sorting out tonight. I think that Teresa's already mentioned the lack of appreciation of the system for the workers. But I also know that we really are in a process now of rekindling our own understanding of how we work and rewarding ourselves for doing the best possible job every day. Teresa?
So today we're going to talk. We already talked a little bit about why burnout isn't your fault. One quick reset tool that we can use and take away from with you tonight. The truth about inner healing for the healthcare professionals by addressing root causes and how nurse coaching can restore the common clarity and calling that nurses are asking for. We've already introduced ourselves a little bit. This is Lynn McCright, Teresa Walding, and we are the co-founders of Advancing Nurse Coaching. It is actually a movement dedicated to restoring the calm, purpose, and feeling back into nursing. Acknowledging what nursing is at its very core, which is presence. We bring a presence with us that is healing to our patients. And I think in the modern nursing with so much technology, we've lost just a little bit of that. But everyone in this room knows that nursing is so much more than what we see on a monitor.
So, why does this matter? Here we are in 2025, record stress levels, unprecedented numbers of compassion fatigue throughout all of healthcare, and not just the nurses, the other providers as well. The system strain of chronic staffing shortages, which have come with nurses leaving the profession. Those who are staying are much more concerned about understaffing, and understaffing creates a dangerous situation for the patients. So patient safety is absolutely paramount here, in spite of the strains on the system. And we have had so many nurses exiting the profession, and they're, in this terminology, it's called the talent exodus. You can see in the image to the right, there's just a blur where a nurse should be standing. And it's like, what's wrong with this picture? Somebody's missing. So the message here really is that the world still needs you, but they need nurses to be healthy. They need nurses to be whole, and they need nurses to be renewed.
I picked this because I've been talking to a lot of young nurses lately, and I see the deer in the headlights look. Like, what did I get myself into? And, one young nurse I just recently talked to, she's like, I thought it would be so much different. And so she said, I'm young, but I feel like I'm already burning out. And that became a really good coaching conversation. So the promise of this program and what we're talking about tonight and our um, ability to experience life takes all of us to support each other to do that. And when we do that for each other and ourselves, we now have an ability to do it for the public, for the people that we serve. So we want to talk just a little bit about, what that might look like. And the giving that, the paradox of nursing is we have such big hearts and we have this desire to continue to help even when we should be taking care of ourselves. Lynn always likes to say that for the tenets, oh, say it, Lynn. I can never say it just right.
So in the American Holistic Nurses, we have 3 tenets. The first of which is to take care of the patient as a whole, body, mind, and spirit. Secondly, include alternative modalities as appropriate, and they're not always appropriate. And then lastly, the third one is taking care of the nurse first. Wow. How do we do that? I pondered that for days. And finally, I realized, oh, of course, go back to number 1. Take care of ourselves as a whole, body, mind, and spirit.
That always makes me feel better because that's been one place. Raise your hand if you've ever sacrificed your own health and well-being just to go to work and do all the things you do. Yep. How long did you do it? Years? Type it in the chat. How many years did you sacrifice before you realized you really needed to take care of yourself first, just so you could continue doing what you were doing? For me, it was 25 years. 25 years. And I realized, and that was even after I became a nurse coach. Isn't that an interesting thing? That you, even when you have the information at hand, even when you know what you should be doing, it takes a while sometimes to realize you should be taking your own advice. What you're doing with other people, you should be doing for yourself. And I have my hand raised for no apparent reason. I don't even know why. But giving endlessly is becoming a thing of the past. We have figured out that pouring from an empty cup into every patient does not end well. You fix, you soothe, you serve, you're always doing for others, and now it's time for doing it for ourselves. Because when we do it for ourselves, we role model the exact things that we want for our patients. And we know exactly what it looks like. You know, emotional exhaustion. You see people, I talked to a friend of mine the other day and she said, I looked down the hall at my colleagues and they looked like ghosts. She said some of them I didn't even recognize anymore. That's what the exhaustion feels like. Most of us struggle with sleep or insomnia, irritability, emotional reactivity, and we don't consider that that could possibly be a sign of burnout. It just looks like you're having a bad day. One of my good friends, when I worked in post-anesthesia recovery, she says, I don't understand it. It's as if there's so much apathy now, no one cares. And I thought, when we lose our empathy and we lose our ability to care, that's not a problem with you. It's just that you're tired. It's time to reconnect and figure out another way to work. And when you begin to question your purpose, which I know a lot of people don't really question their purpose, but they're like, I just can't go back to what I was doing, but I don't know what I want to do. And nurse coaching offers this ability to expand your horizons past what you thought was there. And there's a lot of places that nurses are going now that we haven't been in a really long time. Because that question is this all there is? No. But I know almost everyone I've talked to has said that same question to me. Is this all there is?
So what is the cost of caring without renewal? Wow, we've just talked about the incredible personal toll, chronic exhaustion, guilt about not doing enough, physical health problems that come up secondary to our employment, strained relationships, and then the professional impact. I mean, we can't begin to overstate the problem of the increased risk of medication errors when people are exhausted. Being disengaged at work, but disengaged. The high turnover rates, and wow, decreased patient satisfaction. Well, we know it when we see it, but there's also somebody out there measuring it. So spiritual disconnection is really the heart of it. A loss of purpose and meaning, feeling disconnected from the sacredness of our calling, feeling empty at the end of the day instead of fulfilled, and questioning, why am I continuing to do this when I feel so unrewarded? But all of this changes.
Burnout does not equal weakness. I think we know that, but sometimes we have a harder time seeing it. But it really is a signal for ourselves that we need to heal ourselves first. And it doesn't mean that we failed. It doesn't mean that we can't do it, but it does give us pause, because literally the feelings or the signals of burnout are really turning us inward, saying, listen, I'm sending you all of these signals. I'm sending you love letters to your bodies. You might have a headache, you might have indigestion, you might have back pain. All of those are signals that say, listen, it's time to slow down and decide to do something different. It's not a character flaw. A lot of people, I hear a lot of striving. A lot of people say, I'm striving to become the next version of myself. But if you can't strive and be the next version of yourself and leave yourself behind, you must take you with you. And when you recognize that maybe some of those symptoms that you might be experiencing that you didn't think was a symptom of burnout, it's a wake-up call. It's like, oh, me too. I'm a human being. Look at that. Imagine that. And then it allows us to have that momentary pause and make a new choice. And when you recognize that burnout, what it actually is, you can begin a new journey. And I think nurse coaching is here at the exact right time in history, because there's never been a time like this in history. Tell the Florence Nightingale quote.
So in 1870, Florence Nightingale told us that it would be 150 years before people would see the kind of nursing that she envisioned. That year was 2020. Everything changed.
And here we are on the journey. So the pathway to new discoveries, new discovering through insight, which is what our program teaches at Advancing Nurse Coaching, is that internal dialogue, the inside of you, of how you actually work. When you learn how that works through stories and metaphor and practical tools and some frameworks that we have, it has been an amazing journey. I just had a testimonial from one of our students, and she said, Teresa, I cannot thank you enough for what you've done in this program with me, because my life is totally different. She said, I didn't quit my job, but I have a new job. And she is loving her work again. But she learned how to create boundaries, and she learned how to listen to her wisdom and her own internal guidance. And the biggest thing she learned was to stop judging herself, and in turn, stop judging others. And that was eye-opening. She said, I have never learned that before, and I am so grateful. And that comes with the pathway that we've laid out, is the awareness, becoming aware of where these thoughts come from and how this works in our life, noticing what's happening inside of you without judgment, and recognizing that emotions are signals. They're letting you know what you're doing with your internal dialogue, with your own thinking. And we are not separate. Our bodies are not separate from our thinking. And actually, our thoughts change our physiology. Every thought changes our physiology. And, we create thought patterns that just look normal to us, and other people go, I don't know why she does that. How many times have you wished other people would think like you? Because you thought somehow it would make life easier. when we know that can never happen, we have a new awareness of the human condition and human beings and how they actually function. When we see that, we have more compassion. We have an ability to stop judging others and maybe ask deeper questions, just like peeling an onion. I realized the other day that we do it every day in every assessment with our patients. We are seeking information from them, about them, for them. And when we do that with kindness and not criticism and lack of judgment, we actually are treating ourselves the same as we are our patients, because we bring a new dimension to the healthcare system and to that patient in particular that is healing. How many of you love to be heard? Like somebody that actually listens to what you say.
Yes.
You know, when you go, it doesn't just have to be a doctor's appointment, but when somebody holds that space for you and actually listens to you, that is one of the most healing spaces in the entire universe. And if you can do it with little or nothing on your mind, except for their highest good and with curiosity about them, they will tell you things they've never even said out loud to themselves. And when that happens, people are really quite shocked and surprised, like, I didn't even know that was in there. And we think, oh, that was so easy. That's not coaching. That's exactly what coaching is doing.
It's nursing.
It's nursing and coaching, and we've been doing it for our whole careers, and now we have a board certification that we can actually claim it. And we know that consistent small daily practices rebuild balance, and sustainable change comes, over time of gently recognizing this innate ability to check in with ourselves. And when we learn how to listen to that deeper wisdom and not all the noise that's out there, you now have something that most people have never touched. And it's that quiet, still place where you know exactly what to do. It's a very different way of coaching, but and nursing, and we sometimes we do it without knowing it, but when you do it and you do know it, you will watch miracles happen in front of your face. It's amazing. Go
We
ahead.
never tire of the miracle.
No, we
It-
don't.
And nurse coaching is a two-way street. I'm always learning from my client at the same time that they're learning from me. So I'll never burn out because it's so rewarding and it just is so fulfilling. And I know it in the moment every time. Every time I sit down with another person, there's something to be learned. And I just get curious about what that is, who they are, and we explore the world together.
So we talked about a little 90-second reset. Has anybody heard of box breathing? Has anybody ever tried it? So it's actually physiological. It's actually a proven strategy to help decrease the stress level in the moment. It literally takes 90 seconds. If you want to, we can try it. So you just pause for a second, let your air out, breathe in for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do that as many times as you need to settle your vagus nerve, because it soothes it. When you're focusing on your breathing, you can't really focus on something else. And that gives you a pause and a space, especially in a stressful time. And you can just feel the peace. If you're noticing how your body feels, you can feel that feeling in your body. And then notice that the answer will come and you'll know what to do. And I think we do it unconsciously a lot. If you see people go around the corner and they're like, but when you slow it down and actually do it intentionally, because now you know how to do it, it will help you in the moment. And then you can move on with your day.
one of our graduates said that she worked with a student, one of her patients, in regard to this. And when the patient came back the next time, she hardly recognized her. She was so much more relaxed.
Yeah.
And she and her husband had a wonderful relationship. And he had been saying that I have a nervous wife. And he thanked the nurse as they were leaving the second visit.
Yeah. Apparently we have two slides the same, Lynn. A little bit, sorry. But did you even try to breathe it just a little bit? Did you like take a deep breath? Did you feel anything different in your body? Could you feel a little tension relax? You know, and we do it all the time with our patients. Take a deep breath, just breathe, hold my hand, just, it's going to be okay. Let's do it for ourselves. Let's put our own oxygen mask on first. The everyone here knows what the HPA axis is, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. So a lot of people, and I didn't know that people didn't know, was that when our stress levels are high, we actually emanate our own cortisol levels 6 feet from our own bodies. It jumps onto our neighbor, and then they become a little bit stressed and they wonder what's happening. It's that same thing that you can walk into the hospital or into your work and have an idea about what the day is going to be like. It's because we can sense that as that intuitive hit. But when we realize that that's what's happening, and if we know we're not in that state, we can actually be the calm that anchors the unit when we come in and actually intentionally bring the presence with us of calm. That too is a neurotransmitter that can go into the room. How we always feel a little better when that person that comes in that, like, I'm going to ask her, she knows what to do. When I first worked ICU as a brand new grad, you can imagine how scary that was. I prayed every day, please God, don't let me kill somebody, because we were still mixing our own drugs under the hood. And we had the ICU Bible that we had to check everything that we did. Remember those days? And there was one nurse, and every time I worked with her, I knew it was going to be a good day. And you know what she did to start the day? She sat down and crocheted for 15 minutes before we started doing anything. And I looked at her one day and she's like, Teresa, it's going to be okay. We're going to make it through the shift. That built a resilience in me that I didn't even know that she did. And I thought, wow, and I just took a deep breath and I sat and talked to her for 15 minutes while she did her thing and got prepared for the shift. And it was a great shift every time I worked with her. And that's one of those skills, they think, that when we can bring it with us to the room, we help ourselves and our colleagues and our patients. And now, through anybody who likes quantum physics kind of stuff, we can talk about that another time, but it's now proven that those things matter and that we
got it all done.
Yeah, we got it all done. But these practices have been used by nurse coaches for a very, very long time. And we want to make it more mainstream, and we want our patients to know about it as well.
So under the old model, my goodness, we all know about these. Well, I recall the days of the 8-hour shift that went to the 16-hour shift. Anyway, push harder through exhaustion. And how do you do that? Well, you have to ignore your own needs and power through, sacrifice yourself. So in the new way of looking, we're going to pause and listen to our inner needs and validate ourselves as being worthy of our attention. We're going to lead from a place of calm and know that it's not selfish to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. So as a nurse coach, the approach is when you shift your role from a fixer to a facilitator. How many of you went in and the patient told you, just tell me what to do and I'll do it? Anybody ever get that one? Like, I don't know what to do. But when we take the pause and we actually ask them, they do know. It's the same, if you talk with them long enough, they'll tell you what's wrong with them, but no one listens long enough to hear it. That's what nurse coaching does. It brings us to this presence, and with powerful questions and with questions that occur to us to ask them in the moment, that we wonder where that question came from. That's intuition helping us along the way. And insight-based approaches, which is really what our program is about, is why an insight is so important. When you have an insight into how you work psychologically and physiologically, it changes your entire life. It changes the way you see the world. It changes the way you interact with it. And research is beginning to catch up. It seems to me that there's about a 40-year lag between actually knowing how something works and somebody proving how it works. And I always wonder why it takes so long, but I think we just have to make it through the generations that are like, nope, they were right. Okay, let's move one more step. We are here now where the information is at our fingertips. I can Google or chat GPT anything I want to know. But the one thing we can't do with chat GPT is create a human connection and a feeling between two human beings. Because truly in the feeling and the presence is where healing happens. The state of health that Florence Nightingale spoke about of putting the Constitution, was her word, into a state of health, was bringing that presence and that calm and knowledge of how to do that, which is nursing and medicine. But doing that is what heals people, and it helps us to bring back the joy in our profession and into the lives of ourselves and the people that we serve.
Even in the first book that Florence Nightingale wrote, Notes on Nursing, she said nursing is knowledge that everyone ought to have, of how to put a body into a state of health. We're just arriving at that. And she wrote it in 1859. So here we are today with nurse coaching. It just came into being about 13 years ago. And our program is now 10 years old. So it's been coming into the forefront of the profession in a very quiet, very peaceful, very calm way. It is a revolution, but it's a peaceful revolution.
So the offer, the transformational opportunity here is so what comes next? Why would you consider becoming a nurse coach? And we wanted to just make an invitation for you to come check us out, to join us, to see if something resonates with you of what you want to do with your practice in your next iteration of your nursing. So what if you had one full day to rebuild calm, clarity, and confidence? Would you do it? If it only took one day, would you do it? Imagine at the end of the year, 2025, that you could come to a class, learn something about how thought works and why it would matter and how it could change your life and your career. Would you spend one day to do it? It would be a gift that you could give yourself that would keep giving to you for the rest of your life, whether you became a nurse coach or not. It's that powerful of work.
So the healing shift, this is an invitation to join us. It's going to be December 30th, and we're going to lead into the purpose, the prosperity, and the possibility of the year 2026. And it will be a transformational event. We're just in the planning processes now, but we're delighted for you to join us. And you can get in touch with us. The easiest way is our website, just 2 words, nursecoaching.com. and it's will allow you to send us a message, and we can offer a free coaching session to you.
So at the Healing Shift, we'll reconnect with the heart of nursing. Remember why you chose nursing as a calling, to rebalance your energy and emotions through restorative practices. We call them insights of how things work, and huge insights lead to huge change with little to no effort. A lot of people are like, can I do one more class? This class is very different. It's experiential. It is videos, but it helps us to have conversations and not teach you out of a book. It redefines how we communicate and lead with coaching skills because you practice them wherever you go. It doesn't matter if you're in a pod or in a group. It's something you take with you and you experiment with and you play with and you see if it's true, and you see how people react to you and with you. And what that gives rise to of new possibilities, which includes a nurse coaching board certification pathway, but it also elevates your life, because there was a time where I did not know that my thoughts were creating so much dis-ease in my body. I wanted to quit nursing. I was really done. That was on a Friday. On the Saturday, I heard about how worry was created through my own thinking that looked invisible to me. And I had an insight that said, oh, you can love your family and your colleagues without carrying the weight of worry for them. Monday morning, I had a new job. And I don't know anything that works that fast as recognizing the way that we work as human beings, and coaching is that vehicle.
It's wonderful to know that you are the thinker. If you know that you are the thinker, you know you have power, and you know you have a way to get where you want to go, because it's through thought that is the most important part of our lives. It's the most important part of our health. It's the most important part of our relationships, and everything that we are included in our environment falls into place and finally makes sense. So the perfect end of year reset. It's going to be a time to be able to pause and reflect and restore, and actually ready to connect to your purpose. We're finishing out the year with a calm, clear, and confident moment to be able to step into 2026 in a new way, with a new purpose, and totally aligned with the harmony of the universe and why we're here and what we're doing in the world today.
So understanding the experience, we'll be going over that in the masterclass. The pathway that awaits you is one where a lot of people are looking for a program that helps them transition into more profits as a nurse, which we don't talk about that very often, but nurses are starting their own businesses. They are stepping out and helping people with all the ways that they know how to do it, whether it's we'll call it a side hustle or a full-time practice. It's whatever you want to make it. And of course, always bringing it into your current work. So the four pillars of the healing shift are to reconnect, which is returning to the heart of nursing, reigniting the passion that I know nurses have. I've been watching it blossom recently. I'm really excited about that. Rebalance, which is healing from the inside out, with a framework that we call implications, not applications, using what we call the three principles, mind, thought, and consciousness, as a way to help people see the oneness that we all are, that we're all connected, that this is something that we've always known, and we shine the light on that in a very big way so that you could see why this would be one of the most important courses you would ever take. I wish every nurse had it at the beginning of their career.
Right now, we're offering it at the DNP level through Texas Wesleyan University. Our program is offered online and it's a required course for the Texas Wesleyan University DNP students, our
Yeah.
same course.
Yeah. And we'll talk about in that class why it is redefining nursing. Coaching is redefining nursing because it's communication skills, it's relationship skills, it's health skills, and it includes our financial stability and security. One of the things that people often say, well, but can I make a living at it? Yes, you can. You can. And people are doing it every day, and they're finding wonderful creative ways to do that. But this pathway is to purpose and prosperity, because without prosperity and purpose in our careers, it's not sustainable. That's the society that we live in. It's what we have to work with, and exploring these new possibilities, especially through nurse coaching and board certification. Not only does it elevate the nursing profession, it elevates our lives exponentially, because there's a new level of provider that's coming out here who knows who they are and what they want to bring to the world, and they've stopped asking permission, and we're just doing it.
Well, and we have some students who want to serve the underserved, and of course, there's very much a need in that area as well. So the client isn't so much the man on the street as it is the community that serves the man on the street. That's who she is getting as her client. So
Well,
these principles that we're talking about work equally well with the highest level businessman and the lowest level, whatever, homemaker or person who is homeless. So there's no difference in the way that humanity is addressed. The principles that we talk about embrace us all.
and when we're taking care of ourselves financially, physically, and emotionally, we now have more to give back to others who can't. And I see nurses as being philanthropic and being able to really serve the people that we really want to serve, because we know how much the needs are out there. So who can do this program? Experienced nurses and nurse practitioners, anyone who has a heart and desire for holistic nursing. You crave freedom and fulfillment for greater flexibility and meaningful work. You feel burned out or just stuck in your career, and you're ready for the next step. A lot of us are in life transitions and we're not sure what to do. In my view, of course, this is the next step. And if you're ready and to rediscover your why, we would really love to speak with you. We would really love to have a conversation with you and see what you're looking at and looking for, so you have complete clarity on what you want for your life. Because when we come full, fulfilled, and whole, we get to do things we never thought we could.
Well, and who knew that this would even exist? 20 years ago, it did not. This is
Yeah.
something brand new on the planet, and of course, nobody's ever heard of it. It's too new to be that. And so we're here now, announcing our presence and saying that this actually is going to be, because nursing is the heart of healthcare. This will be the transformation that we are bringing to healthcare.
So our coursework is interactive sessions in the form of live coaching calls, where we have a little bit of education, but mostly coaching, healing insights. We tell stories and metaphors and find ways to help people understand what it means to live from the inside out. We have a wonderful supportive community of nurses who have been there, have had insights of their own, and love to share with all the new people to create these communities of people, and they're beginning to come together and creating even their own practices. So it's a very supportive community, so that when you have questions, you don't feel alone, and there's no wrong question. The pathway is board certification to become a nurse coach. That's what you get in our program. It's 60 hours of continuing education and 60 hours of supervised coaching. So it meets the requirement for the American Holistic Nurse Credentialing Corporation to allow you to sit for the board exam. And then we have a community that we have a mastermind that we have once a month for even current students and people who want to continue the conversation after graduation.
And I would love to say that nursing is the very first and the only profession to actually offer a board certification in coaching. No other profession offers a board certification. So we really are way ahead of the curve. And I'm thrilled to be able to share that. So we
So
have
it's one day. Go ahead, Len.
No, yeah, we have one day that we're going to spend together, which is the 30th of December. And we'll be sending out the information about the event tickets online and the gifts that will be received also. But for attending this evening, there will be one free CE that we are offering. So you can look for that link in your email as well.
It's December the 30th virtual.
Yes.
Okay. And how long?
Well, I think it's just going to be 4 hours, and we haven't exactly decided
Yes.
about the start time.
And that's just the introductory that day?
Yes, yes.
And how many nurse coaches are certified in the United States?
Well, right now, about 2,500 and about 500 internationally.
Wow.
But there's over 5,000 that have completed the program, have completed a nurse coaching program.
Not all have sat for the nurse coach exam.
Not all have sat for the exam. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
Our,
really pushing for people to become the board certified nurse coach.
yeah, no, I agree.
And that's through all the programs that are.
Yeah, congratulations to both of you. I think I'm doing a lot of work with Burnout, where the nurses in their first 2 years as the head of the action committee for the state of Texas under the AARP that had that across all the states, funded by Robert Wood Johnson, and now I think it's being transferred, but it was the Action Coalition. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah, yeah.
So that's been transferred. I forget the name of the organization, but um, no. So congratulations to both of you, and also because of my work I'm on the board of the Texas Nurse Foundation, and I work with North Texas, Dr. Barbara Chapman, Dr. Cindy Weston, looking at we're actually doing a feasibility study on a platform to help nurses within the first 2 years reach out to helping them before they leave the profession. But I just got a call from a hospital in Columbia. Excuse me. Yeah, Columbia. And they've sent me their they have a write-up on the burnout that's happening there. And
Oh,
so
wow.
so it's just interesting. I think that this is a pivotal time for nurses, as Florence Nightingale so timely predicted,
yes.
because we can't continue to do the same thing and expect different results.
Right.
And I do see models of nurses becoming more resilient through participation in the policies that are happening in hospitals, which hadn't been as much before, where we had one nurse CEO on a committee, but now actually having the floor nurses participating in policy. I think there is it is a pivotal moment for the profession of nursing, but also with everything that's going on with higher education and hospitals and major institutions. I think that nurses will be able not to fill the gap, but to lead
Yep.
in all of the needs that are going to be occurring because of the changing in funding to communities. And I think that
Right.
Nurses are going to be able to lead that if they can uh, find their center and be supported. So I think this nurse coaching that I just kind of fell into as a one of the senior minority nurse leaders in Texas, in the United States, and internationally, because we don't have many Mexican American nurses with PhDs who have
Right.
been
Yeah.
around and who are have not been so fried at this point in their in the trajectory of your career. I have a lot of colleagues, but they don't even want to. I mean, they're so fried. I mean, they're just and they have a lot of health issues. And thanks to my own spiritual center and people who mentored me, and which is why I'm giving back at this time as I've retired twice, because I think exactly what you're saying. You have actually captured to me the tenets of how someone can become resilient, but not only resilient, but be able to be energized by your work through understanding the interaction between human beings first, and then patients and nurse, etc. Joyce Travelby was an ancient, and you probably remember her when we had to pick theorists when we were doing papers early in our careers. But I always liked Joyce Travelby because she talked about, if we don't connect as human beings with the patients and understand them, they'll never be able to reach their full potential, because you didn't connect first. And I think we're seeing a lot of disconnect because
Right.
Yes.
the young nurses haven't because that's an art. How do you
Yeah.
really connect, and especially when people are very sick. And I don't think there's enough. There's the young nurses tell me that we're just the same young ones to the young ones. We don't have that we don't have enough nurses that have been out for a long time
Right.
to be able to
That's right.
so I think that the coaching is and I applaud, is essential to be able to bring in that future of nursing that is changing and that is needed in the paradigm shifts that are occurring for nurses to take their role in leading.
It
You're
is
absolutely
absolutely.
right. Absolutely
We
right.
we
Yeah.
had the opportunity to meet Dr. Weston when we were at the Texas Nurse Practitioner Conference, and we were telling her there that our program is evidence-based. What we found through the statistics of Baylor University here in Waco is that our nurses increase in their resilience scores with each of our 4 courses. Higher, and higher levels of resilience.
Oh, that is great. I know that with the Nurse Essentials, that there are 4 nursing schools. I think UT San Antonio is one that they are testing out to add the resilience to the essentials. That I don't think they have added they're piloting that essential across 4 nursing schools. I don't know who the other 3 are, but I know that UT San Antonio is one.
Oh, good. I'll be talking to the dean there very soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to be
That.
in contact with those people, because the resilience that we teach is not taught in other places. That
Yeah,
inside out understanding,
yeah.
it's
They
very
didn't.
different.
Yeah, they did. If you notice the essentials, it's not there.
Right,
Well,
No.
right.
one because there were so many things with the essentials. So,
Yeah,
but they did pick 4 schools that were kind of on the early adapters with the essentials
right.
to do the pilot test. I don't know all the details, but it'd be great for you to ask the dean. I forget her.
Right.
I know her at
Which dean
UT.
is it? From where?
It's UT San Antonio.
Yeah,
San
we
Antonio.
had
Okay.
a friend
Because
here
I
in,
have a contact, Cindy Weston.
Cindy
right.
Weston is the dean at the new nursing school. I
Yes.
work with her as a
Mhm.
consultant at North Texas Health Science.
Yes.
They just had a name change. I think it's North Texas Health Science Center at Fort Worth.
Right.
And they
Uh,
actually have an entrepreneurial to their program.
Yeah, so I'm working with her and her one of her nursing professors, Dr. Barbara Chapman, on this um, generative AI platform that we're doing a feasibility right now for nurses within the first 2 years, and our long-term vision is to have this Nurse Link 254, because there's 254 counties in Texas, to be able to immediately be
Yes.
able to go on and link that. We're currently we worked about 6 months to a year to develop the platform. We're doing the feasibility. We're turning into IRB in November and we're working with Cook Children's Hospital
Oh, good.
because they have a residency program for young nurses, but they're still losing within 2 years.
Those are the statistics. That's right.
And so
Yeah,
it's
and that's why they need this information that we teach in this program. Yeah, if I had learned it at the beginning of my career, life would have been so different. So
yeah. I'm
different.
wondering, have you put it in any undergraduate curriculum?
No, we
Not
have
yet, but we
not.
want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I think I meet with Dr. Weston tomorrow morning virtually. I'm gonna say, listen, since she has a new nursing school,
Yeah, I
I'm
haven't been
wondering.
able to connect to her.
Well,
Tell Dr.
I'll let
Weston that I sent her a message on LinkedIn.
well I'll let her know that I did my CEU tonight with both of you,
Great.
and
Yeah, yeah,
see if we can connect with you, since I've been working with her on I was the strategic planning for them on the mission and vision of their nursing school, and they just went through CCNE and
they
did
did.
Yes.
really well. And so,
Yeah,
Right.
but I'm going to talk
she's
to her about it
amazing.
and see if
Yeah.
she could be the first school that you would do it for undergraduate. What do you think about that?
I
Fabulous.
love that. That's
Fabulous.
actually when
Oh,
That's our
I
goal.
talked to Cindy at National Black
TNP.
Nurses Association conference. It was NBNA
okay. I'll
that we were
mention it
there.
to her again and
Yeah,
see, because I really think we need it at the undergraduate level.
Oh,
yeah.
we do too. We know it.
I mean, if we don't get it at the undergraduate, they'll never survive to go beyond. From the statistics, as you see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not
yeah,
getting
absolutely.
their first renewal of their license even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
that.
much.
Thank you both. I just think that I think I had talked with Dr. Dalia Rojas. She's a nurse colleague of mine. I believe
Yes.
she's certified. She's gone through her certification. She's in Seguin, Texas.
Okay.
Dalia Rojas, Rojas. I believe she's with your group.
I think so too.
Sounds
That
familiar.
name is
Yeah.
familiar.
Because there's not too many Latinas that have the coaching certification.
Yeah,
Well,
we
we
have
have
yeah,
a
go ahead.
student who's with the Hispanic Nurses Association
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
is in our class.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
Yeah.
great, great,
she
great.
is
Yes.
loving it. She's
Yeah.
and she's a force to be reckoned with herself.
Wow,
I
very
love her.
good.
She's
Yeah.
Very
amazing.
good. Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Very, very cool.
Have y'all presented at the TNA conference
I had a poster. I've
last
done
year?
a few posters. Yeah, I've been doing posters and presentations almost every year wherever I can get them.
Yeah. I
I've been
think. Yeah.
last year at TNA, I did rewriting healthcare from the inside out.
Oh,
I
I think I do remember. Okay.
remember
Yeah.
that. We
Yeah.
had quite a lot of people. I did a lot of coaching all day long that day, and I had about 4
Oh,
people.
I remember. Yeah. Yes.
You remember me? Yeah.
Remember you had open coaching or something that they could come and see
Well,
you.
they did that in another room, but I did this at the poster.
Yeah. Yes, I do remember now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think I did speak to you at that conference.
Yeah, I think the International Association of Latina Faculty, I'm on that board, their meeting. I think it would be great to have you. Have you ever presented to the International Association of Latina Faculty?
No.
No, but I
Founder,
would.
founder is Norma Martinez Rogers, and she is a tenured professor at University of San Antonio in Health Science Center Nursing School. Norma
Okay.
Martinez Rogers.
Okay.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
we just lost a wonderful person, the professor emeritus, Kay Avant, lived here in Waco.
Oh, I do know. I was taught by K.A. Vance.
Yeah, she left
Oh.
us
Yeah.
in June, but she
Oh,
was so dear. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
that's how it happens that I'm going to be talking with
yeah.
the dean.
Yeah, I graduated from UT San Antonio in 1979.
Yeah,
Wow.
And
yeah,
so
I'm
I was
looking,
taught by Avant. Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
looking forward to touching base with Dr. Harden in regard to Kay's legacy.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us tonight. My goodness, it's been such a joy to have you and hear about all of our various nursing journeys and where we're going next. Any last words, Teresa?
No, I'm just grateful that you were here, and it's obvious to me the right people are here. You
Yeah.
know, we have to work together to make this happen, because if we don't, you know, we know what the alternatives are. And so we really have a heart to help nurses really thrive and prosper in their careers. So
Very good.
any
Yeah.
connections that you think we should make, we would love to do it. We're happy to do presentations or come speak with you. Anything that we can do to move this forward, we're willing to do. So
Definitely will talk with when I meet with Dr. Weston tomorrow morning. I really think that we can't lose any more nurses,
Right,
or won't have anybody at the bedside. And I think
right.
be embedded, uh, and maybe when you talk to Harden, since she's going to be the pilot for the essentials, I think maybe you guys should chat with
Yes,
the people who are working on the essentials, because I
absolutely.
think that you have a you to me, it sounds like you have developed a model, and perhaps that model might be able to be quantified as part of the essentials, and then could be cascaded like they've done with the essentials, where you have for the undergraduate, graduate, and the nurse practitioners. And so, because that's really hitting it, would say, and hitting it in
Early.
bullseye. If
That's
you
right.
get to
Yeah.
because the essentials, as you know, there's, your early adapters, etc. And people, I really think that we needed something like that, but the verdict is still out on how people are integrating that. But I think you're early enough that um, I think you have a model that should be part of, and they are almost there with this pilot they're doing on the resilience. But I think it's more than just one concept. I think you all
it is.
have a model and it sounds like even almost like an algorithm as well. But I really would encourage you to because it could be an optional essential. I don't know how to.
Right,
I don't.
right.
I just.
That's kind of what we're seeing. We've already been approached by University of Texas at Tyler, one of their faculty asking about putting it into their nurse practitioner program. So we know that it's going to be in demand. And we didn't even give the background. A nurse theorist by the name of Helen Erickson, who is modeling and role modeling, actually lives in Texas. She's in Round Rock, and it was her
Yeah.
daughter, Dr. Margaret Erickson, who introduced nurse coaching to the world. She was the
Oh,
person who brought it through and is offering the certification. And it's right here in Round Rock, Texas. So
so
it's approved through ANA.
so is your certification, is that different than your certification?
No, it
Your
is our certification.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is our
yeah.
certification.
That is the certifying body,
Yeah.
ahnCC.org, ahnCC.org.
Wow, this is great. Yeah, I just think I think you're at the right time at the right place, and so very good.
Well, thank you for being here. And I look forward to speaking with you, because I think there's a lot more here than what we could cover tonight.
Yeah,
Um,
I definitely
so
would be on December 30th, and then I'll follow up with you once I meet with Dr. Weston tomorrow.
I would love to. Yeah, please
Yeah.
tell her I emailed her, or I messaged her on LinkedIn if she wants to connect there, or you can certainly send her my email. Teresa.
I think the other thing is that I think within your concepts, with what you've shared with me or shared with us tonight, I believe that the communities that nurses are going to be serving, both those nurses who are not from the community and those who are from the community, I think this is going to help bring us together as nurses
Yes.
without having to get ourselves muddied by the equity and inclusion. This could really
Yes,
be,
yes, yes,
Bypasses it completely.
yeah, this could
yes.
be an overarching bridge, which
That's the way
we
we
need
see it.
right now because,
Yeah,
as
it's
you all
overarching.
know, with the 26 words we cannot be saying in universities, and I mean all of this craziness. Nurses are really caught in the middle,
Right.
and so I think this, what you are sharing, maybe will be helping nurses bridge what's occurring on the policy level at the national level that we're really struggling with as nurses, to be compassionate and then have to be an immigration officer or have to ask questions that puts us at odds with our patients. I think this because you have a big component of self-reflection, so that you're able to be centered before you get into the situations that nurses find themselves in.
Right, right.
And when you literally understand the foundations of human mental life and psychology and our spiritual nature, you bypass all the noise and we become a human being who's just trying to do good in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
We're
And that
we're
gives us
going
that
back.
edge.
Yeah, we're reaching back to our true essence, Barbara. Our true essence.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I think I've said to many deans that I speak to, I said, we're not passing on our art, you
Right,
know, of caring, and there is an exchange. Even in the dying patient, there is an exchange
right.
of energy
Right.
between two
Yes,
human beings. But
yes,
unless you have been taught that art in addition to the science, and then know how to melt it together, you are drained after being with that patient or any patient. But you should not be, because at the end of the day, it is that human being's journey. And
yes,
for a moment, for a very sacred moment, you were allowed into that space. And
yes.
usually it's not anybody but a nurse, as you all know, at 2 a.m, with that human being as they leave,
This,
this world.
yeah. Well,
Right.
we do absolutely know that, and it's just so precious to us that we're being heard tonight. And of course, as you must know, it's not always been that true for us over these last few years, but we do continue to speak, and we do continue to teach. We do continue to share, and I'm so privileged that every nursing clinical area can utilize nurse coaching in their practice. No exceptions, every clinical area. So, and it's rewarding to me to know that, because through the Board of Nursing here in Texas, they want CEs only for your practice area, and holistic nursing covers all practice areas.
Yeah, great.
So here we are today. Well, thank you. It's time to say goodnight. I just can't begin to thank you enough for being with us. I put our two email addresses on the link, and of course, you're welcome to contact us at nursecoaching.com.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. We'll speak to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
A good
looking
evening.
forward to it. Have a good night and a wonderful week. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.